So, hi, it's Dr. Gemma again, and it is Self Care Sunday. I have declared Sundays are Self Care Sunday because Sundays are the first day I have off from work every week. I don't, I work through Saturdays. And I've realized that when I finish my rather grueling 4-day week, it is time for some self care. So, one of the things I want to do first, before we go anywhere, is I want to recommend a book. And the book is called The Woman's Comfort Book by Jennifer Louden. And that's Jennifer, Loud as in dog, En as in Nancy, I believe. But look up the Woman's Comfort Book on Amazon. You'll find it. It even comes in Kindle. I would recommend you get a hardbound copy because it's indexed and you can flip through it finding things. She sets it up as a kind of grid model. Across the top, you have here are all the different things you can do to comfort yourself. Across the side of the grid, you have a list of here are situations I'm in. And you find your situation, then you go across the grid seeing everything that is checked. These are ways you could comfort yourself. So it's kind of cool. Okay. So that's The Woman's Comfort Book by Jennifer Louden. I think it was issued in 1978. I stumbled onto it in like 96 or 97. And I think she reissued it in 2005. I really would recommend it. It really is delightful. And it's very, very helpful. And I don't think you have to be a woman to appreciate most of the stuff in it. Now then. So here on Self Comfort Sunday, I wanted to talk about a very fundamental issue that I run into as a therapist all the time, and that is reconnection. And I really do think one of the most basic things you need to do to soothe yourself when you are upset is to reconnect with people who will help you. Don't be alone in a problem. As I say, when I train people for crisis work, the first thing you train them is do not be alone. Get help, okay? So if you've ever done CPR training, first thing they teach you to do is point to someone else and say, call 911, tell them we have a possible heart attack. So the first thing you do in CPR is you get help. You don't jump on the person who just crashed and try to start, pumping their chest. You start with get help. Don't be alone in a crisis. Humans don't do well alone, okay? So every day you should be reconnecting with your network of people. And that's a very sophisticated subject in itself, but I will tell you, it is a morning routine for me to get up and turn on my social media. And I use Instagram and Facebook. I have some Twitter, but I don't usually use it. And I go and I just check, how's everybody doing? Is there any crisis going on? Okay, and so I look for all my friends. But it's interesting because we give a lot of guilt in our culture about using social media. And I think that's because we don't understand how to reconnect. We don't understand appropriate connection in some cases. And so, people get addicted or overuse it. So when I'm talking about reconnecting, I'm not just talking about social media. I'm talking about phone people, say hello to people at work, just generally reestablish your network wherever you go. And I will talk about that later, more sort of hometown solutions to that for when you're depressed. But I want to say that it is key that every day, as an act of self-care, you reconnect. Now, when you're self-caring, you're in your family and your intimate group. You're probably going to have some good rules about it. And if you don't, I would suggest you do. And here's, let me explain that more. I'll put it that way. So, when I see my family members, I hug and I kiss them. Hello and goodbye. And that is a rule in our family, that you don't leave without kissing people goodbye. And I have to say, this was developed and it is an act of mindfulness and of loving mindfulness to do this, that we don't have any guarantees about the future. And so when you have the privilege of being with the ones you love, you kiss them hello and goodbye. And at least in our family, that's one of our rules. Or maybe you give them a big hug, whatever your family likes. And you do that because in this moment you are together and you acknowledge that. You acknowledge what a privilege and what joy that is, what a blessing. And you show love to each other. So you give each other a happy little moment every time you meet or every time you part. Now, on social media, there are different rules because social media, of course, is not very private. So you really have to think about this. And so I'm a big fan of putting security on your social media, of not having it open to everybody, unless it's something like a public podcast or broadcast. That's a different issue. Okay, so you have your private social media. You may have your public social media. I do believe in your private that there are rules you want to observe, okay, about how you connect with people. So I have friends who are not Facebook or Instagram friends. They're friends. I call them, I talk to them, I enjoy their company. But I do not want them on my social media. Why? Because my social media, for me, is a source of entertainment and relaxation. And there are friends I have who they're my friends, but I spend a lot of time being emotionally supportive and helping them, and they're not in the happiest place in their lives. And so if they're on my social media, they're usually complaining or unhappy in some way. That's not why I'm on social media. Social media is a source of entertainment for me. So I have plenty of friends that I don't let onto my social media because, much as I love them, they're not always easy to be around. And part of that involves my politics, that I actually do very little politics stuff on my social media. I've been gradually weeding that sort of thing out for the last year and weeding out people who are going to get too angry or aggressive. I don't mind if you disagree with my ideas, but if I think people are being angry or aggressive, I just weed them off my social media. And they may say, well, what are you doing? And I just say, well, I'm not on social media. I just give them some lame excuse. But the reality is I may love you perfectly well. I just don't want you on my social media. It's okay. It's just social media is not a form of friendship for me. It's just a place I go, like watching television. It's a place I go to entertain myself. I may learn occasional things on it, but I don't really consider it a valid source of education because it's so unmoderated. Okay. So on social media, I do draw lines and I do say you're a really good friend to some people and you'd be a lot of fun on social media. And to some people, I just go, nope. Social media I use primarily for groups, to be honest. So, I go out to Sunnybank every year. There's the Sunnybank group. There's a lot of knitting I participate in. So there's various stitches and knitting groups. Okay. But on the whole, I want social media to be a pleasant experience for myself. And so I'm using it as entertainment. And it's a lighthearted connection. That's why it is good for reconnecting in the morning, because I know I get up in the morning, I'm tired, I'm not yet ready to face the world, I haven't had caffeine. So I'm just connecting with a small group of people who will give me a little sunshine when I start my day. I've also started working on social media on weeding out the commercialism that I think that we're exposed to so much marketing, billboards, television commercials, ads on our computers, that I do not want to encourage that. So, for example, I realized on Instagram, because I'm a yarny person, a fiber person, I noticed a lot of the accounts I was following were all about consumerism. They were really gifted independent dyers, but when I was looking at their pages, it wasn't personal. It was really just them marketing at me. There's nothing wrong with that, except I choose not to participate. That I have so much marketing in my life that what I did instead was I wrote all their names down and I keep a running log on one of my other computers of people whose goods I like. So when I feel like it's time for a treat, I may look them up on Instagram or Facebook or the web and purchase from them. But I do not wish to be in the place of the constant market recipient where I am constantly being kept in a place of perceived need or lacking because someone is marketing at me. So I see something pretty that I don't need and I go, ooh, I need that. Ooh, I want that. I don't want to be that person. I don't want my kid to be that person. So we really have reduced the consumerism in our social media. This is not a judgment on anybody else, but it makes it easier for me to be on social media, and it helps me to keep the focus on I'm using social media to connect with people, to reconnect, to support social relationship in a positive, easygoing, happy way. Okay? So that's my thing. So, I think it is one of the big problems is we're always sort of saying, oh, there's apps now that tell you how much screen time you're using. And I think we're always implying that people are spending too much time on the screen. Whether or not that's true, I do think there's a lot of value in social media to help us connect with other people every day and feel visible and in contact with other humans and supported. And I think that's an excellent form of self-soothing, okay? So I want to encourage you to just use the simple strategy, reconnect. Whenever things are going south, whenever you don't feel good about the world, reconnect. Connect with another person. Call your friend. Read your very well-regulated and edited social media. Go ahead. That is a great self-soothing, self-care strategy. So here on Self-Care Sunday, I want to say that the strategy of the day for today is to reconnect. Whenever you feel things aren't going well, reconnect with another human being. Okay, so there you go. So everybody, it's been fun talking to you. Thank you for hanging in and listening. Stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.